As you all know, today there has been a shocking and tragic series of events which has led to the lives of 3 innocent people being taken and left another member of the public in a critical condition in hospital. My thoughts are with all the families affected by this horrific incident, and we are working extremely hard to try and understand exactly what has happened.
This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this news comes from Nottingham. It's a breaking news story. It broke at 4 AM today and very little details emerged, but now finally some details are starting to come out about what has occurred in the city. The initial statement by the police, and then we'll discuss what has been said in the news and also social media and what locals have had to say in order to try to build a fair picture of what has occurred without any sort of spin on it. The first statement the police released said that officers and emergency services are currently in attendance at an ongoing incident and there are multiple road closures across the city. The following roads are currently closed: Ilkeston Road, Milton Road, Magdala Road, Maples Road, Woodborough Road, Maid Marian Way Junction of Parliament Street as well was also closed. The Chief Inspector of Nottinghamshire Police, Neil Humphrey, said police are currently at the scene of multiple locations and please avoid that area for this time being. And this led to a lot of speculation and people wondering what was going on. Understandably, they wanted to gauge an idea of what was really happening. And the police released the second statement several hours later. So this was only like 3 hours ago. A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after 3 people were killed in the city. Police were called to Ilkeston Road at 4 AM, where 2 people were found dead in the street. Police were then called to another incident in Milton Street where a van had attempted to run over 3 people. They are currently in hospital but are not dead. A man has also been found dead on Magdala Road. So from the initial police statement, it seems that a spate of incidents occurred in a short space of time, very similar to what we had in Birmingham when a man walked through the streets of the city centre stabbing multiple people. He murdered somebody. Many people were injured, and we covered that story heavily on the channel because I thought it was really important. The man that was convicted of that crime was actually sentenced under mental health issues. But at the same time, right now, they are definitely treating this as a potential terror threat. And this is procedure with anything like this. They will have to rule out if this is a potential terror threat, because usually when these sort of incidents occur, there would be something to follow it up straight after, and this would explain why the police have shut down the trams in the local area and cut off roads that are not necessarily involved in the situation. They're trying to contain it until they know exactly what this man was trying to do and why he did this. Chief Constable Kate Maynell said this is a horrific and tragic incident that has claimed the life of 3 people. We believe all 3 incidents are linked and we have a man in custody. This is the early stages of the investigation and we are trying to establish what happened. They asked the public to be patient, and the following roads that I mentioned earlier were all still closed earlier on today. And now, literally an hour ago, the police have updated with a third statement. This shows how important this story is and how much traction it's got. It has made the mainstream media, and it's also a lot of questions have been raised. The police have said they're keeping an open mind over the city attack that left 3 people dead, but at this time they believe that nobody is outstanding and 1 person is responsible for the incidents. A team of detectives are currently investigating the circumstances surrounding the attack. Chief Constable Kate Maynell followed up on the previous statement and said, "We have a man in custody, but we are still keeping an open mind. It is safe to go into the city centre, but a number of streets will remain closed while the investigation is ongoing." In relation to the wider media, there has been several witnesses that have told the media that police surrounded a van and dragged a man out of it. Some people have even said shots were fired beforehand, but these have not been confirmed. The van is apparently still in the location. It's inside a cordon and there is some sort of packages on the floor or bags that fell out of the van and has not been disturbed by officers. The armed officers, several of them using guns, and a lot of the witnesses said that it happened so fast that they barely remember exactly the details. Fire engines, ambulance and also police were at the scene for the majority of the day, and they are still believed to be there now. As I said earlier in the video, this would definitely be the first stage of the investigation. They have to rule out whether there is any terrorist incident. The other factors being, is this a mental health incident? Has somebody broken down and gone on some sort of rampage for the city? As I said when I referenced the one in Birmingham, this has happened before. Sadly, it probably would happen again. So both of these are probably going to be the top and most likely possibilities at this moment in time. The latest update on social media is that a house has been raided in Nottingham by a lot of armed police, and they believe this may be connected to the situation. So the investigation is fast underway, and developments are taking place every single hour. In the latest update on the 15th of June, today at 9:30 in the morning, police have made significant revelations. They have also stated the sequence of events that they believe the attack took place in, and the victims, 3 of the victims that have been identified today. In a statement from Nottingham Police, they said they can provide a series of events that led up to the man killing 3 people with a knife and using a vehicle to attack 3 others. So already in the first statement, we've been able to ascertain that a knife was used. We didn't know that really. There was a lot of speculation, guns, all sorts of different ideas that people had. But we can now say from the police statement that a knife was believed to have been the weapon that was used to kill all 3 people. Detectives have spent hours piecing together the movements of the 3 people that lost their lives. They included gathering CCTV footage and eyewitness accounts. It is known that 2 of the victims are students from University of Nottingham, and they were stabbed with a knife in Ilkeston Road on Tuesday, the 13th of June. The police were first called at 4:04 a.m. They attended the scene and found a male and female student, both aged 19, both unresponsive in the street. Investigations revealed that a man matching the description of the suspect had tried to gain entry to a supported living complex in Mapley Road, but was denied entry. The incident was not reported to the police at the time, but the police believe the suspect then attacked a man and stole his van. A call was received by a member of the public, and the police attended, and they found a deceased man on Magdala Road with knife injuries. This victim has been identified as Ian Coates, and they initially said that he was found inside a property dead. But in this second statement, they don't say where he was found, but they don't also say if the van was owned by him. So some of these details should emerge, I believe, later on. The stolen van was then used to run over 3 people in Milton Street. One man is in a critical condition in hospital and is believed to have suffered minor injuries. A short time later, police then detained the suspect using a taser, and he abandoned the vehicle and approached officers with a knife. And this is what was caught on film, and we spoke about earlier on in the video. All of the victims' families have been supported by specially trained police, and detectives are still keeping an open mind as to the motive of the murders. The police went on to say some reports suggest the police are no longer working with counter-terrorism, but they said this is not the case. Counter-terrorism police are still involved, and they are working alongside Nottinghamshire police. There's also been reports, they said, of other phone calls made to the police about the suspect before he carried out the attack in the area, but they said that there was no phone calls received. But obviously, if anybody has any phone calls or suggestions that that is not the case, please feel free to email Scarcity Studios at news@scarcitystudios.com. Video footage has also emerged of a man trying to break into that house when they said earlier in the statement about a man trying to gain access to a property before. The Sun newspaper has released the CCTV of the actual moment that happened, and it shows a man trying to climb in through the window, and he's pushed out by somebody that apparently, I'd assume, lives inside the property. And some other news that has emerged today is the identity of the victims. The heartbroken families of 2 students that died in yesterday's attacks in Nottingham have paid tribute to them after they've been formally identified. University of Nottingham students Barnaby Philip John Webber and Grace O'Malley Kumar, both aged 19, were found in Ilkeston Road after 4 a.m. on Tuesday, having been stabbed. Ian Robert Coates, aged 55, was the 3rd victim, and he was found with knife injuries in Magdala Road after he was attacked and had his van stolen. So that's the first time that I've seen them say categorically that Ian was the victim of a robbery as well. In all the other statements they mention he was there, they mentioned the van, but they never said pinpoints that they were connected. And the first victim, Barnaby, was from Somerset. His family said he was a talented young cricketer who was studying history at the university. In a statement, his family said, "We are filled with complete devastation. It is not enough to describe our pain and loss at the senseless murder of our son. Barnaby Webber was a beautiful, brilliant, bright young man with everything to look forward to in life. He was talented and a passionate cricketer who was over the moon to have been selected for the university cricket team. At 19, this was just the start of his journey into adulthood and developing into a wonderful young man. As parents, we are so proud of everything that he achieved and all the plans that he made. His brother is beyond belief at this time, and we ask for privacy as the family come to terms with what has happened and to grieve." The second victim, who was on the street with Barnaby at the time, Grace, was a first-year medical student. She was a talented hockey player who was described as a popular member of the England under-16 and under-18 squads. She also played for the university. Her family said Grace was adored and she was a beautiful daughter and also sister. She was a truly wonderful and beautiful young lady. Grace was not just a sister to James, but his best friend. He is completely heartbroken. As parents, words cannot explain our complete and utter devastation. She will be dearly missed. We are incredibly proud of everything Grace achieved and what a truly lovely person she was. She was resilient and wise beyond her years. Grace was so happy in life, fulfilling her ambition to become a doctor whilst playing top-flight hockey at university. She leaves behind a devastated extended family and also friends, and we request that all media outlets do not invade our privacy at this time. Mr. Coates' family has not released a statement in relation to the case, but we have to respect that, and I send my condolences to his family, and may he rest in peace. So really appreciate you joining me for these updates, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to pay your respects in the comments and follow at scarcitystudios.com on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.